Welcome back to AM Northwest. Our first guests are known for finding stranger-than-fiction stories with larger-than-life characters, and their new documentary series is no exception. The Kings of Tupelo, a Southern Crime Saga, features a small-town feud, an internet conspiracy, an Elvis impersonator, mysterious severed body parts, and an assassination attempt on the president.
We're following new developments in Tupelo, Mississippi.
Who mailed poison-filled letters to the President of the United States?
A Mississippi congressman
and U.S. Senator targeted.
He'll be charged with an attempt to kill the President of the United States.
During my 25 years in the Bureau, I've described this case as the craziest in my career.
Everybody has something suspicious in their house.
How do you go from a feud with a former friend to sending ricin to the President of the United States?
That's a bad no-no.
I still don't even understand all of it.
Of an elephant was shot in a drive-by shooting.
I just found a severed head.
He is said to be an Elvis impersonator obsessed with conspiracies.
Welcome to Mississippi, where things are different.
Welcome back to AM Northwest. Emmy Award-winning filmmakers Chapman Way and Maclain Way. Good morning, you two. This series is just beyond incredible. Where did you find this?
Yeah, thank you. Well, it truly is a bananas story, but yeah, we had a vague recollection of in 2013, an Elvis impersonator was arrested for trying to assassinate President Barack Obama. And that headline just always kind of stuck with us. It was such an odd headline. And in 2021, about 3 years ago, we flew out to Tupelo, Mississippi, the birthplace of Elvis Presley, met with Paul Kevin Curtis, the man who was initially arrested for this crime, and very quickly realized there was a whole lot more to the story than had been reported at the time. It involved, a severed head, the black market organ trade, local politicians, a U.S. senator, and eventually this kind of worked its way all the way up to the White House with a presidential assassination attack. So it just was kind of like one jaw-dropping turn of events after the other as we dove in.
You visually do such a great job of keeping everything figured out, like you're following along with the flow chart. Did you, when you're putting this all together, have to have a flow chart of all the issues, like with all the characters, and then how they're all connected, and who's more wackadoodle than the other? I don't know.
Yeah, I think Mac almost lost his mind doing the research on this thing. When I'd walk into his office, he had the strings everywhere, the photos.
It's like, it's not making sense. It's not making sense.
Trying to put this whole thing together. But it was a challenge to kind of simplify it and make sure that the audience could follow along. But, eventually all these kind of different elements do come together. They do all kind of weave together and add up. And I promise it does make sense by the end.
And Maclain, for you, putting this all together, I mean, did you two have like talks where you said, "Can you believe this now?"
Yeah, it was, and we wanted a series that was reflective of our own experience. This was disorienting at times.
Yeah.
Exactly what you said. You start with what you think is a little bit of a small story in a small town, Tupelo, Mississippi. Yeah, there's a big legend of Elvis Presley there, but I don't know much else. I didn't know much else about Tupelo, Mississippi. But eventually, as you start to kind of go from string to string, from point to point on our main character, Paul Kevin Curtis's journey, it takes you all the way to Washington, D.C. and beyond. And there was a moment where one of our FBI lead case agents on camera said to us, "Listen, if you send a deadly letter to the President of the United States, there's a lot of people that are going to start trying to find out who you are." And that was certainly this story. I mean, this was one of the largest interagency federal investigations going on. It wasn't just the FBI. It was Secret Service. It was Homeland Security. It was Postal Police. It was U.S. Capitol Police. And it was just like talking to those guys, and their whole story of how they investigated this was they were also disoriented by the whole thing. So it was certainly a very unique experience.
You too do so much work into these documentaries, and I think back to the Battered Bastards of Baseball. You were actually here at K2 going through archive film. And that's, I mean, here's a shot of you two in our boss's office where he has his Polaroid wall. What was that experience like for you, being here at K2, just going through footage?
That's so much fun. That was probably about 12, 13 years ago. That photo. But yeah, we spent a lot of time in Portland researching, working. We did Battered Bastards of Baseball, which was about, a minor league baseball team that our grandfather owned up there in the 70s. Was our first project we ever made. So we have incredible memories. And then in 2017, we spent about a year out there making Wild Wild Country, a cult documentary about Bhagwan Rajneesh. And I think also we're back at the K2 studios getting archive as well. So we spent a lot of time there. You guys have always been super welcoming, and Portland's kind of like a home away from home for us.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, we could not tell these documentaries without the resources that you guys have already put into these stories when they broke and when they happened. And, it's fun for us because we get to tell these stories with some years later in hindsight. But I mean, honestly, always just so impressed with the coverage of the Rajneeshis or the Portland Mavericks. It was always amazing working with you guys.
That's so great. If you could sum up which docuseries, documentary film was the most challenging, is it Kings of Tupelo? Which one is it?
I think Kings of Tupelo was challenging. Wild Wild Country was longer, 6 episodes. I think it was over 7 hours. But this one was very difficult. And what's fact? What's fiction? What's real? What's not? Like, how do we make sense of this world? And so they were both kind of challenging in their own right. But we're proud. We're super proud of both of them. And honestly, just very excited for people to see this new one. This is our edit room. We've been working here for the last 3 years, and no one's really seen it. So just came out this morning, and we're kind of excited to get it out.
I cannot recommend it enough, and you do too. You also do such a great job of getting to know the people and the families behind each character. It's absolutely fascinating. We want to tell our viewers The Kings of Tupelo, a Southern Crime Saga, is streaming now on Netflix. Thank you both so much.
Thank you so much
again, Helen.
Thank you.
Super fun to talk to you.
So fun. We'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.